Do you sometimes have stupid ideas and then you think about it and you come to the conclusion, no, you shouldn't do this? Well, I have the first one, but I often don't have the second one, so I just do it. Well, in this case, the goal was to have the most damage and most DPS on Infinite Corridor that you can have. Now, there are multiple issues, and first, I might want to go back a couple of patches before Golden Axe, before Infinite Corridor, and what used to be my very first strategy when I wanted to do this. Roll back to a time where Gallo Tower came out. Very quickly, people realized that the Pentagram was also hitting the Drowner. And this is where the millions of damage was coming from that people saw on their end screen where they thought Pentagram is busted, but in reality it was just as bad as usual, it's just that the numbers were insanely inflated. Because Pentagram doesn't kill the Drowner just stays there, he remains there, but it takes the entire HP of the Drowner and adds it to the damage that Pentagram did. So first you need to understand, Pentagram deals the max amount of HP in damage to every single enemy it strikes. If the enemy doesn't die, then that means the enemy is immune to Pentagram. Same for Moon. The Reaper, the Stalker, the Death, and we exclude the Capella here because that one works entirely different. They have a base of 655,000 HP multiplied with your level, multiplied with Curse. So if for example at 25 minutes when the Drowner spawns you're at level 200, which is more than reasonable back in the days, and 100% Curse, which will double its HP, it will end up with 262 million. Now at that time my plan was to have the highest DPS since Gatti Amari took completely over and was just demolishing damage records after damage records, so I was just looking at the DPS. And my plan was the following. 25 minutes I walk below the Crab Boss. Every 6 seconds it checks if I'm below the Crab Boss and then it will spawn the Drowner, so I have to walk further down. On my way there is a chest that will union one of the union weapons, so for example Vandalier, Ferracci, whatever, it doesn't matter, but the reason for carrying that weapon is because I'm level 200, so I'm maxed out, so I need a way to free up a slot, which a union does. Next up I would get a level up, and it would rely on luck that I actually get the Pentagram. Once I get the Pentagram, and I also have the Clover for higher luck, the first strike has a 10% chance to hit and a 90% chance to erase, which will not apply damage. Now with the 90% luck this will end up at 19% chance to succeed, but obviously I don't stop there, because my DPS at that point, if I would just quit in this moment where I level up and get Pentagram, would be 262 million. That was not my goal. What I wanted to do is I wanted to have a gem there that has multiple level ups, at least 8, so I can upgrade Pentagram to the max. And the goal was that in an insanely quick succession, even before a second is over, I would max it out to level 8. So we are looking at 19% success chance on the first blast, 19% success chance on the second blast, 47.5% chance for success on the third and fourth blast, 85.5% at level 5 and 6, and after that it's beyond 100% at 123.5%. Now, in case you decided to go alongside with me and math this out, this would result in a chance of 0.6%. At this point I honestly just decided to give up. I tried it 4 or 5 times, every single time wasting 25 minutes, since the goal is still to have the highest level possible, so it has the most HP. And well, I kind of forgot about that. Even when Toasty came around with the insane amount of luck, what is it, I think 200%, which would have significantly increased the odds of this succeeding, I just put it off the table. Now, while I was doing an infinite gold farming strategy where you just go to Capella and you don't evolve the Clock Lancet, you actually don't even need Clock Lancet, you just let the game run forever and forever and forever, and Vicious Hunger keeps picking up gold bags for the Gold Fever. After seeing all the Reapers around, I came to the realization that, hey, I could do this again, but instead of doing it with Pentagram and with new characters and with Golden Axe, I want to do something extra stupid. I want to have the highest amount of damage. I want to reach the T value that comes after G in Vampire Survivors on Infinite Corridor. Now let me explain to you where the issue is. Of course you can run the Infinite Corridor just on a normal run, however the damage will actually not be that high. Like sure you'll reach G values, but like you will not see a T value unless you have probably millions of X in them. And even then it's unreasonable just because the scaling is so insanely high that you're required to reach that. So I had a very simple plan. Simple but stupid. Get as many Reaper on the screen as possible. Now what does as many as possible really means? Because the Reapers just keep spawning, so you could just sit there forever, right? Wrong. The problem is that eventually the Reaper will die, and if you assume somewhat equalized damage, then every 60 seconds a Reaper will die and a new one will spawn in, well, because they just take the same amount of damage over time. So if you deal a low amount of damage, then sure you might be looking at 500 Reaper that are on the screen at the same time before the first one that got hit for the last 500 minutes will start dying. However, if you deal a lot of damage, then the first one might be dying already after 30 minutes maybe. Now you might say this sounds good and all, but what do you do about the white hand if you mess up the timing? Then the Reaper will just turn into 5 golden eggs, the white hand will appear and everything was for nothing. No, the white hand only appears if you actually have infinite corridor and kill a Reaper that got hit by the infinite corridor. That means if you don't have infinite corridor, the game just goes on forever. Good, now that we have that settled, we have determined the goal is to have as many Reapers as possible on the screen to hit them all at the same time because of the insane multiplicators that they receive. We need to have a low damaging weapon that clears the enemies and gives me a lot of levels, however that doesn't deal too much damage so the Reapers don't die as quickly. And then there's obviously the unimportant rest of how do I make the entire setup. Now starting off I had to make a choice on stage and starting weapon, and I determined I only want to have one weapon. My act character Smith starts with Vandalier, but right now there's a bug in the game where if you go below 100% of negative cooldown reduction with Vandalier, then Vandalier stops shooting. That means yes, in the very beginning for like 30 seconds, he will keep shooting, that is his very first shot that he does, but after that nothing will happen. At first I went for Garlic as a follow-up weapon once Vandalier doesn't shoot anymore, however the moment the enemies became stronger and experience that I would have gotten started ramping up, it was not killing anyone anymore, so I decided to drop that, and instead I went for the good old Santa Water. That turned out to be an excellent decision because while its damage is relatively high against normal enemies, the around 2.4k damage it deals per second is nothing on a Reaper that has, hold your horses, at least 8 billion HP. Now on the Bone Zone, every single minute all the enemies receive an HP bonus. That also applies to the Reaper, and the longer you go on, the more HP the Reaper has. So yes, technically speaking, this could have been even more extreme than what I did. So the starting weapon is set, the stage is set, and now I had to make a decision whether I want to play on normal mode, that means every 60 seconds a Reaper spawns, talking about real time, or we play on hurry mode, which means I will reach a way lower level, but I only have to wait 30 real time seconds until the next Reaper spawns. Now obviously I'm not crazy, I'm gonna spend the time there waiting for 60 seconds per Reaper. I'm a sane person. I wouldn't do something like this. No, but for real, I went for hurry mode. The actual joke behind it was how stupid this entire thing is and how long it took, even with hurry mode. So either way, the stage was set and I started grinding up, and this is probably what I enjoy the most. The entire spamming of the level up screen, you'll see I just do everything. I have to banish everything, and I pick up the Santa Water, I pick up Laurel, I pick up Clock Lancer. Laurel is needed to be evolved into Crimson Shroud, so whenever you get hit the damage is limited to 1. Well, it does limit it to 10, but then it subtracts your armor and puts the minimum to 1. Because of invincibility frames you can get hit around, I would say 5 times a second in the game, so as long as you heal more than 5 HP per second, like let's say Bloody Tear, that's more than enough, but my egg character has more than 100 regen, so yeah, there's no way that he'll die. There are honestly no real good Arcana in the game that I could have picked. Mad Groove is definitely by far the most comfortable one, and I decided to also go for that later on, as it simply pulls in all the stage items and I don't really have to move after them. Now to understand, I'm not allowed to evolve the Infinite Corridor. That means I'm not allowed to pick up one of the rings. I want to have as much curse as possible on the Reaper, as I have around 1.4k curse, and that means they have their HP multiplied by 14. I did make a mistake and I removed the curse power up prior to this run because I made a guide for gold farming, like the very beginner gold farming, and one strategy there doesn't use curse. So I forgot about that. Yeah, okay, but what is like 50%, 14.5 multiplier, 14 multiplier, come on, it's the same. Now to round up the entire run, what I needed to do was, the ring always gets pulled after me, I pick up the ring eventually. So now let's talk about the final game plan out of all the stuff that I just talked about. The Arcana pulls in all the items, that means no matter where I walk they will always follow me. I have a bunch of chests down, and the use of the chests is that it will allow me to max out the ring the moment I pick it up, and also evolve the Clock Lancer to Infinite Corridor. The timing at when I do that was planned to be the moment the kill counter goes up by 1, because that means I kill the Reaper. And now I have, more or less, just talking about statistics, the longest time until the next Reaper dies, which means everyone should have the most HP. To understand the risk here, if I don't pay attention and I just randomly do it, then it could be that a Reaper right now only has 10,000 HP or so. If it gets half by corridor, that's 5,000. And that means even before a second blast of the infinite corridor happens, that Reaper will die, which will cause all the other Reapers to get a raise. I get my 5 golden eggs, like yay. But the entire thing pretty much failed. Like, just to understand, Terra is an insane amount. In the game, the damage numbers go from M for Mega, to G for Giga, and over to T for Terra. Got that? Good. So that is the reason why I want to wait until one dies, then I prepare the ring. I pick up 2 chests, most likely one will be a penta chest, the other triple chest, just by odds that is the most likely scenario. It will max out the ring to level 9, and then I wait until the next Reaper dies and I pick up the last chest, which would just evolve the clock lancet and all the Reapers that can be hit. Now, to be fair, I didn't know if it's just screen wide or if it's around me in a circle or if it's everything. They will get hit. And I theorize that it will go off 3 to 4 times until that final Reaper has so little HP that he will die. Now, I had a scenario that was kind of lucky or unlucky. The Reaper died and I decided to go to the toilet, you know, to calm down because I have to do everything. Once I come back, I expected to see at least 2 Reaper dies. Because keep in mind, every 30 seconds a new Reaper spawns. That means with this interval, I expect if I'm away for 1 minute, that the number went up by 2, but it didn't go up. Shouldn't the number be a bit higher than 27? There must be 60 seconds that have passed. Actually 30 seconds. Right? Oh! Oh wait, you can't even hear me because I wasn't there. Okay, they might take a lot of different damage. Let's wait until it goes to 28 maybe. That means to me that this Reaper that died was insanely unlucky. He got hit by an insane amount of weapons, like for example by constantly being on the screen, constantly getting hit, and no other Reaper, not a single one, was even remotely close to this one. Now I could gamble, I could say, okay, I will wait until the next Reaper dies. However, the problem is if I do that and I wait too long, then it might lead to a domino effect where, you know, there was a very big gap between Reaper and Reaper, so it becomes more likely that the gap between the next 2 Reapers is actually shorter than the average that you would expect, which is 30 seconds. Which would then lead to a scenario where I could have one with what I previously explained, you know, he only has 20,000 HP, gets halved, instantly dies, entire thing is over. So in a moment decision I decided, after seeing the first one dying, after going to the toilet, after thinking about it for a very long 5 seconds, I will just go in there, I'll pick up the ring, I'll evolve it, I'll get a corridor, and I'll let it blast off. So, here it is. Enjoy the end of the live stream. Okay. 5 more levels is 1 penta chest. Come on, I just walked through that. Come on. There we go. Yeah, they just started dropping like flies. This is kind of what I was expecting, but I think I think 1 Reaper just was more around me than all the other Reapers, and that's why he died this early. Which I guess is still fine, because it's a right signal, right? So please die. Could the Guardian please die? I just want to see the Guardian dead. Ah, whatever. Come on. Come on. Just walk into the chest, please. There we go. That's not an evolution chest. There are 2 chests that are not evolution chests. We got scammed. Come on. Come on. The problem is I'm too fast. I'm just walking over the chest. So if you think I'm just too stupid, no, I'm just too fast. Okay, that's an evolution chest. We can see evolutions in there, so we know that. Well, there we go. There is no entity limit. A Guardian is also a boss. They just get summoned. They always get summoned. Okay, well, let's hope that when the animation goes off now, the colorful animation, that it doesn't immediately end, because that means there was someone really close to dying. And whoever complained about me wasting time, I can't ban you, and I wouldn't ban you, but like, I'll be mad at you. Okay. I heard it go off. Oh my god, okay, so I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I didn't do anything. Wow, this is actually going off a lot of times. 3rd time. 4th time. 1 died. Wait. Okay, 2 died, but 1 was the Guardian. Okay, let's quit. I wanted to quit. Why did I? It's done. It's done. Yeah, let's ignore the Crimson Shroud. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, okay? That was what I said. You can easily do this with a weapon, but our goal was, we literally just, look at this. It was out for 15 seconds. It did 21.9 trillion. 21.9 trillion in 15 seconds. Huh? 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 And now I will private the stream, because it's either way, it will be unlisted, the stream will not exist. And I'll do a video for that in 2 days. A stupid video that has no reason to exist. How long was the recording? 5.5 hours. Oh yeah, good job. Good fun editing.